Hi friends, welcome back. So will Brazil and California bankrupt Tesla CEO Elon Musk? That's the subject of today's video. And guys, you've been following the story. It keeps getting wilder and wilder. So here's the situation right now. Musk is facing daily fines of $1 million a day in Brazil. And basically they found, they meaning the Musk people, found a workaround to get around the Brazil ban. So if you don't know, Brazil banned X. I think that's like 3 weeks ago already. And then essentially, and if you guys are in computers, you can explain it better than myself. But because I don't pretend to be a computer expert, but the basic gist of it is I guess they changed like hosting service or something. So now it's on Cloudflare. And because like half the sites in Brazil use Cloudflare, it would be hard for Brazil to, ban all of Cloudflare. So there's just too much important stuff is on there. So then I guess what Brazil had to do then was contact Cloudflare and said, hey, can you isolate traffic on X? And so, we'll ban it that way. Elon, they'll say like, oh, this was inadvertent. We didn't really plan to do the work around the ban, but, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And anything that Elon says, you can't really trust anyway. The other thing that's really interesting about this story is that evidently the Elon may be, and I say maybe, coming into compliance with Brazil. And why do I talk about this? Because Elon always talks as he likes to say, I'm free speech all day, every day, and you can say whatever you want. But it's not necessarily the case. When governments, say in India, Turkey, or Hungary have asked him to, ban certain content, he has. So he'll do that. Or his platform, which he never complains about, is banned in places like, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, these kind of things. He doesn't talk about that. He just attacks Brazil judges all the time. And then it says here, this is according to a Brazilian newspaper. They're saying he may be in the process of banning the accounts that the Brazil wants taken down. So basically accounts that spread misinformation. So that's according to one source in Brazil. So, who knows? And I think, or well, chances are very high that if they do end up banning, said accounts to come back into compliance so they can get money from Brazil, because, Musk needs the money. He probably won't say so publicly, right? Because it would look like he's backtracking on his, free speech all day, every day kind of thing. So there's that. Musk is a hypocrite. I'm sure you guys know this. I wanted to show you guys this too, is if you remember this was just yesterday. I mean, this news comes out like crazy, where California passed a law that says, deep fakes, especially during election cycle, are illegal, and the courts can order you to take it down, etc. And I think could this really rupture Musk's business? Because for all we know, we won't have the numbers on this stuff, but we'll say a large percentage of his platform is a bunch of troll bots, be it funded by Russia, China, or whatever. And essentially, if they're putting lots of AI news and fake accounts and stuff like that to spread misinformation purposely, to influence the election, and Musk makes money from that, he's going to let that happen. However, if it becomes illegal in California, which it is now, this could hurt Musk. And Musk has already been tweeting out all sorts of fake stuff of Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of California, to essentially like say, hey, let's test this law. The same thing that, like I said, this is a pattern. If you read the two stories together, of like, it looks like they're trying to get around the Brazil ban. So they have that weird thing with Cloudflare. Or, now they're trying to, test the law. Gavin Newsom actually made a comment, and Musk tweeted out about this. Let's take a look at this.
Mr. Musk has missed the punchline. Parity is still alive and well in California. But deep fakes and manipulation of elections, that hurts democracy and the integrity of the system and trust. And we believe in truth and trust. And we think this law is sound.
So they think the law is sound. Again, this is the quote coming from Gavin Newsom. I think Mr. Musk has missed the punchline. Parity is still alive and well in California, but deep fakes and manipulation of elections, that hurts democracy. Guys, the kind of crap that Musk tweets out all day, every day, I can't even keep track of it, right? There's too much. Like, so for example, this just came out today. The headline is Elon Musk has reached a new low. I mean, can you go any lower? And this is just a quick list of like the kind of nonsense that he tweets all the time. So he's tweeting out like, conspiracy stuff that the Harris campaign cheated in the debates, or he's tweeting out that Democrats are going to take your kids or something, tweeting out that the Haitians are, doing things with your pets. You guys know this stuff. Tweeting out that Musk has to win, or talking about, making jokes about assassination, this kind of things. Like, it's just like when is this guy going to get essentially fined, maybe in Brazil, banned in California? Are there other states going to pile on? It just keeps adding up. And think of what's even more crazy, guys. If you remember this story, do you remember the dude in Russia the Chechen warlord dude who had like a cybertruck with a gun on it. You remember that? I think that was like a month or so ago. So he invited Musk to Russia, and I don't think Musk took him up on his offer. But now, this is the headline. It just came out a few minutes ago. I'll read it here. Russia's Kadyrov accuses Musk of, quote, remotely disabling his Cybertruck. Who knows? It is Musk, was he ordered by the U.S. authorities to, disable the dude's Cybertruck? Is the dude just making crap up? Who knows? I have no idea. Other than I wouldn't want to mess with any of these kind of people, be it Musk or warlords. If you guys don't know, and we just talked about it, like, when Musk bought Twitter, he had to take a whole bunch of money from all kinds of people, be it money from Qatar, Saudi, Russian money, there's Wall Street money, and even Sean Combs, the Diddy dude, I talked about that. How deeply tied is Musk with any of these people? It's hard to say. I mean, this guy has so many entanglements everywhere. This is from the article. It's interesting. So, and again, and take this stuff with a grain of salt. I want to be clear on this one because I don't trust Musk or the Russian dude. So we'll see what he says. It says Kadyrov said he received the vehicle from Musk, a claim that Tesla owner called a lie on his social media platform. So someone's lying there, and I'll let you guys be the judge of that. One of them is lying for sure on that one, probably, I'd say. Quote, now recently Musk remotely disabled the Cybertruck, and I guess he was saying that on his Telegram account. And then another thing is, quote, that's not a nice thing for Elon Musk to do. He gives expensive gifts from the bottom of his heart and then remotely switches them off. So is that a threat from the Russian dude? I don't know. I mean, it's what it says. It says that's not a nice thing for Elon Musk to do. He gives expensive gifts from a bottom of his heart and then remotely switches them off. So if I'm Musk, I would be treading lightly. If you guys remember too, we talked about it before, where even just to go to the bathroom at his own company at Twitter, he needs like a whole bunch of bodyguards just to go potty, and that's Musk. Not only do you have like these pressures, be it Russia, China, Brazil, he's also moving headquarters of X. So I think Tesla's over there, SpaceX is over there. He originally, I think I heard rumors it was going to be in Austin, but I guess it's going to be in a city like east of Austin. So I had to look it up actually, and if you guys are familiar with the area, you guys can let me know. So it's called Bastrop, I think is how you say it, or Bastrop. Again, this is east of Austin, and it was interesting because you can actually find the stuff on the internet pretty easily on Google Maps. It's called Hyperloop Plaza. It's building 2, I think is what they said the address is going to be. This is where the company is, and then it's like this warehouse-looking thing. This is from last year. These pictures, so I don't know if they're going to build more buildings. This is on the other side, and that might be related to Tesla on the other side, but I don't know. I'm just showing you guys where this thing is, but it's interesting because and there's another look at it. It's like a warehouse looking thing, but it's interesting because essentially what you're doing is you're taking a bunch of people who used to live in San Francisco because they worked at Twitter, and then you fire a bunch of them first, and then you say, okay, if you want to keep your job, you're moving out to Austin, but not really Austin. You're going to work east of Austin, and you're going to work in like this warehouse looking thing. And before, I'll just tell you, like in San Francisco, they had a pretty good location where the Twitter headquarters are. So I'll be curious how many employees want to go along with that move. My understanding, though, with the whole Twitter thing is many of the Americans left, but many of the foreign employees who visas are tied to their work couldn't quit. And plus, we have a slowdown in tech, so they might be stuck with Musk. And it's interesting because I'm sure when this maybe a couple years from now or whatever, we'll get more inside stories about like what happened with Brazil or the hacking around the ban, or what's going on with. I'll give you another example where there was reported before from insiders that Musk likes to boost his own tweets and account because I guess he complained like, why aren't people seeing my tweets and account, right? And so we'll get more of this stuff coming out, and like the more you tick people off, because I'm pretty sure the people in San Francisco don't want to move work in like this warehouse looking building thing in Austin. I'd be willing to bet that. But again, I don't know the area. You guys can let me know what you think about this. I've heard Austin's the nicest city in Texas, but again, this is not Austin. This is like east of that. So that's where the Twitter people are going to be working. And we already know like one of the Twitter person, like their head of global affairs quit recently. That was just a couple of days ago. And this person's important. If you're having problems with like Brazil and like, your key point person isn't at the company anymore, how are you going to handle that stuff?
These numbers every day, but for us to hear, we'll give you $3 million It
for,
sounded extremely, we thought they were crazy. Like,
I
why
mean,
would
it
they
was-
do that?
It was literally like, these people are insane.
They obviously do not realize we're sleeping in the office.
In fact, when they did fund us,
Yeah.
they realized that we were illegal immigrants.
Well, I mean,
Yes, we were.
I'd say it was a gray area.
Yeah, yes, we were. We were illegal immigrants. We were sleeping in the office. We didn't have a car. We had one car, but the wheel kept falling off.
But, well, actually, yeah, the wheel.
And yet there's more. This was a story that just came out today, and this was actually written by someone from South Africa. So, or grew up in South Africa. I think they're American, but they grew up there. And it was interesting because, every now and then, I'll tell you guys certain things when you get kind of like insider looks at the Musk world. I think this was a particularly important one because they point out, hey, I grew up in South Africa too, so I kind of familiar with the culture and I see more about Musk, etc. As I always tell you guys, like Musk and I went to the same school, about the same age, so I kind of know that sort of side of it. This other person knows more the South Africa side of it. I have read Musk's book, the latest one, the Isaac one, so I have a general sense, and I've made a video about that already. I also looked up Musk's grandfather. I can just tell you like the way Musk's grandfather, because Musk's grandfather basically was a conspiracy theorist and had a mindset of like a plantation owner kind of person, in the American terms, or you could say apartheid person. So the basic gist of the article, and I'll explain it really clearly. There's 4 people that are part of the MAGA thing, and they're all from South Africa, which I wasn't aware they're all from South Africa. So it's Elon Musk, David Sachs, Peter Thiel, and then Paul Ferber. I guess they all grew up in South Africa. One of the dudes is a big QAnon person, so I guess that must be the Paul Ferber dude. Although he says he's not part of it, but who knows? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And then the way they describe the sort of like how these people are, and it makes sense. And I'll read it so you can hear like his language. To whites of a certain mindset, this inequality, right? Because apartheid is you had like the black side was separated from the white side, and the white side was a minority, but they had power. And so it says to whites of a certain mindset, this inequality wasn't due to apartheid, meaning the political structure. They thought it was inscribed in nature, right? So we're talking about racism essentially. Certain people were equipped to succeed in capitalism while others weren't. That was simply the way it was, and it was pointless to try to mess with nature. And there's some people who have that kind of thinking, oh, well, we're just higher than another group because it's natural that way. I'll just put it in very simple terms for Americans to understand, because I know for those of you who don't study history or culture or stuff like that, and these are topics I used to teach in class, because I think these are important and valuable topics, especially if you want to be a leader of people and you want to associate with other kinds of people in a positive way. Let me put it in simple terms. So if you take 2 kids, and let's say, each kid has equal talents and abilities, and one kid grows up on, say, a Native American reservation where, they are not given very good land, and, maybe they can't farm, very well, and there's not that many job opportunities, and schooling, education is just not as good as other places. Whereas, you take another kid, and this other kid, let's say was born in a place to where, even though you're the minority, you're the ones in power, you get the better schools, you got more money, your parents have, diamonds and emeralds and all these kind of things. And, who do you think is gonna have more opportunity? I mean, to me, it's obvious. And I can tell you guys, I did not grow up rich. I apologize, I didn't grow up rich. Sometimes people like to criticize me and say, oh, Chris, why aren't you a billionaire like Musk? And it's like, I've seen how the world really works. And if you want to criticize, say, people during apartheid, hey, if you're in the the minority power, or just let's say a black person at that time, it'd be like saying, hey, why didn't you found Tesla? Why didn't you start a company or whatever? And Musk didn't even found Tesla. I should make that clear. He sued the original founders so that he could call himself a founder, and that's a whole other issue. But it's just interesting how, again, this is written by someone, and if you want to read this, you can, but it was written by someone from South Africa who grew up there, and talks about how, like, kind of the culture that we're seeing now with Musk is becoming more and more evident daily. And it's a sad state of affairs. And the thing that's so crazy about this is, for like any other CEO, like I'll give you a simple example. Like if you're you got false marketing claims against you, or if you don't know, their profits went down 45%. You know, if you had a CEO of like any other company doing the crap that he does like every day, he tweets out like 71 a day, 71 tweets a day, and that was according to the Wall Street Journal. They counted the things. I mean, you'd be gone. And just imagine if you were an employee of any company and you're like, you know, tweeting all sorts of crazy stuff. Chances are your boss isn't going to like it. Spreading whatever, you know, rumors or fake stories about certain groups of people. And not only that is I think that he sees the writing on the wall. You know, be it like, for example, it's a simple example, like in China, NIO just announced a new car to compete with the Tesla Y. I've always said this about the NIO cars. I think they're nice looking cars. Whether or not they're high quality, I have no idea because I haven't driven one for myself. I just haven't. If I get a chance to drive a NIO, I'll let you guys know. But evidently, this was just come out today. I guess NIO is poaching like store managers and sales managers from Tesla, which is interesting. So, you know, not only is Tesla losing market share, say in China, they're also losing, you know, employees to other companies. Or, you know, Tesla is like, I guess this was another one. I remember that it was just recently where BMW is now the leader in EVs, I think in Europe. And this is saying that Tesla sales are down 36% in August. Again, this is in Europe. Or, you know, something like this. There's another article where, you know, China's got technology like high-speed trains, right? That makes Hyperloop look silly. Or like this. I mean, the list of stuff goes on. Musk is now trying, and his pumpers, I noticed they're trying to tell you that, guys, you know, in 2026, like a couple years from now, we're going to have Tesla semis everywhere. We're going to make lots of money, right? They always have to come up with a new lie to convince you these things. But, you know, this is something that I want you guys to think about as an investor and as a human being is, you know, think about this stuff critically. Don't necessarily believe all the stuff that Musk says. Look at his track record of misrepresenting things. Like, for example, you know, call him out on this stuff. If there's no semi in a couple of years, call him out on it, right? The same way that the event that's going to be the robotaxi thing that's going to be, you know, on October 10th, we're going to watch it together. I'm sure it'll be a circus with lots of mirrors and stuff like that and smoke. And we'll see. Call him out on these things. And guys, you know, you may not know this. You know, I live here in Korea. I made a couple videos recently. We had a chance to drive the EV3. That's the Kia car. Guys, it's good. It's gonna mop the floor at Tesla. I promise you. I've driven the thing. I've driven the Tesla. I've driven the EV3. The EV3 is good. It is cheaper and it's got better tech in it. I've driven it. I've driven the Hyundai Inster Casper, and that's probably not going to come to the USA, from my understanding. But it's essentially a small little city car. It's way more affordable than the Teslas. I think that's going to be a big hit as well. I think both these are going to be big hits, EV3. And if you want to go to the luxury side, which we drove that, we went to the auto show here in Busan. The Genesis. Those are nice cars. I am serious. Those are really nice cars. And if you don't like Genesis, hey guys, BMW makes nice cars, Mercedes makes nice cars, right? There's a lot of cars out there in the world. And then we haven't even had like serious, you know, introductions of, you know, electric from say Toyota, Honda. However, you know, Toyota's like, yo, I'm going hybrid. I think hybrid's the way to go. And they might be right. So, you know, Tesla's facing a lot of challenges because you're going to get either, you know, lower cost beat by the Chinese manufacturers, or you may get quality beat by say the Germans or the Koreans. Teslas these days are low build quality. You have a CEO who's going nuts, and I think the music's about to stop. But that's what's fun to watch, is like, how long can he keep the circus going? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this thing, guys. $1 million a day fines in Brazil. If you're Brazil, though, you know, I guess don't ban X in a way that, how can I say, completely kicks them out. I mean, siphon that money as long as you can, get that sweet cash. I read something recently. I guess they seized like $3 million from Starlink or something. I saw that. So, I mean, if you're Musk, you're like, oh my God, okay, I got to figure out a way to comply with Brazil, but not tell anyone I complied, so I can still, you know, seem like I'm strong, etc. But you add all this stuff together, and I think this looks pretty bad for him. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. Please share your thoughts, and I'll catch you all in the next video.